Hello, everybody. How are you? I'm fine, thank you. I hope you're all doing well. I hope everything is good in school and you're doing well in your exams. So here is the English class for this week, right? The YouTube class. And today we're going to be doing listening. Okay, so it's listening activities today. All right. Now, so what we're going to do, we're going to start off by going to page 30 in your student's book. Okay, so page 30 in your student's book, please. All right, and it's this chapter here, which is listening. Okay, we have the page. Okay, so what we're going to be doing now is we're going to be listening to some different people talking. Okay, well, we're gonna hear a conversation. Okay, and we have quite a few multiple choice questions to answer about this conversation. Okay, so now what we need to do, like with every listening exercise, okay, is first we need to read all of the questions. Okay, and when we read the questions and we understand, then maybe we can have a little idea of what the answer could be. Okay, so anyway, all right, so that's like what it says here. Okay, so if you look at the questions, all right, then we can have an idea of the answers. Okay, now the exercise we'll be looking at is this exercise here, exercise 6. All right, so as you can see, all right, you've got 5 questions. Okay, all multiple choice. All right, but it's all one conversation. It's all one conversation. Okay, so what do we do? Okay, so first we need to read the questions and underline the important words. All right, so let's have a look. So here is an example here, all right, in exercise 2. All right, so it says, read the exam question below and underline any important words. Okay, so let's have a look. Okay. Okay, right. Okay. So let's have a look and underline important words. So it says, you will hear Kate telling her friend about the new cafe. The reason Kate likes the cafe, the reason that Kate likes the cafe. Okay, so those could be 2 important words we could underline, right? We're looking for a reason why she likes the cafe. Okay, so what else is what can we underline in the answers? Let's have a look at the possible answers. So we have cheap cake, option A, on a cheap cake. So you can say cheap cake, right? Now cheap, if you don't remember, cheap is barato. Okay, and cake is just delicious. Okay, so cheap cake, good coffee. Okay, good coffee, or friendly staff. Now, staff, if you don't know, staff are the people who work somewhere. Okay, so if you're in a cafe, okay, you have all the staff, all the people that are working in the cafe. All right. So these are the things that we need to underline. Okay. So we underline all of the important words in the question. Okay. So this way, we are more focused on the answers that we're looking for. Okay. Subrayamos todas las palabras importantes aquí y así podemos tener una mejor idea de lo que estamos buscando cuando escuchamos y qué puede ser la respuesta correcta. Okay. Very good. So this is what we need to do. Obviously, with all 5 questions. Now, another thing that's important is when we look at the questions and we see all the multiple choice answers. Okay. That means so. Now, when we listen, they're not going to say the exact same words. No van a decir los mismos palabras, los mismos frases exactamente que están escritos en las opciones. Okay? So they're not going to use the same words. They're going to use synonyms. Okay? Similar words to describe the same thing. Okay? So this is something we have to think about. All right? Think about different ways or different words, right, that the speaker can use to say the answers. Let's look at an example. Okay? So we look at this same question. The reason Kay likes the cafe is cheap cake, good coffee, friendly staff. Now, in exercise 3, we've got 2 sets of notes. Okay? What I want you to look at is these notes. Okay? This is the kind of thing we need to be doing. All right? So this is the important one. This one is just an example of a bad one, right? But these are interesting notes, okay? So, all right, so she's made notes about the first question. It says Lion Street Cafe. Like because, okay, that's all you need to know. Like because, and then what she's done here is she's written a 2 or 3 different phrases, okay, that could mean the same thing, okay? So the first option was cheap cake, right? So let's think of the word cheap. Cheap was barato. How else can we say cheap? We can say not expensive, okay? Or we can say it doesn't cost much. Okay, these are all ways to say the same thing. Son todas maneras de decir la misma cosa, okay? Que es barato. It's cheap, it's not expensive, it doesn't cost much. When we listen, they could use any one of these phrases, okay? Cuando escuchamos, se puede usar cualquier de estas frases. Okay, en lugar de usar la misma frase que hay escrito en la pregunta. Okay, so, right, it's important to think about synonyms. All right, so not expensive, doesn't cost much. Let's look at option B, right? The option B, it said good coffee. Okay, good coffee. Synonyms or similar phrases. What can we say? She said, coffee great, right? So great, so good, great, synonyms. Amazing. Okay, amazing, good, amazing, again, synonyms. And fantastic. All right, so all synonyms for good, right? So she could say, instead of saying the coffee is good, she could say the coffee is great, the coffee is amazing, the coffee is fantastic. Okay, all of these are different ways to say the same thing. And if we look at option C, let's say the friendly staff, the friendly staff. So we think friendly staff, friendly. What synonyms can we have for friendly? Okay, so you have friendly here. Helpful is another synonym for friendly. Okay, or maybe you have nice or kind, right? Friendly, helpful. And then staff. Now, staff, if you remember, were the people who work there, right? Los trabajadores. So if we're in a cafe, who works in a cafe? Well, the staff could be a waiter or a waitress. Okay, a waiter is camarero, a waitress camarera. Okay, so these are all different ways that they could say the answer. All right, instead of saying friendly, they could say helpful, and instead of saying staff, they could say waiters or waitresses. All right, so these are things we have to pay attention to. Okay, siempre tenemos que pensar de los sinónimos y frases que quiere decir la misma cosa que se puede usar, okay, y que se puede escuchar en las respuestas. All right, always think about different ways to say the phrases. All right, so so let's have a look. Let's have a look at this question, right? So let's have a practice. All right, so we're just going to listen to the first part of the conversation. All right, and we're going to answer this question here, right? The reason Kay likes the cafe, all right? And we have to choose cheap cake, good coffee, or friendly staff, okay? So let's listen and answer the question, okay? All right. So, are we listening? Okay, so listen and choose the correct answer. All right.
Unit 3. Listening. Page 30. Exercise 4.
Hi, Matt. Are you free to come for coffee with Liz and me on Saturday morning?
Hello, Kay. That sounds like a nice idea. Where are you thinking of going?
There's a really good cafe on Lion Street, and they play great music too.
Sounds good. Is it quite cheap?
It's not that cheap, but the coffee is really good, and you get a free cake. The staff there are helpful too.
Okay. So, did you get that? Did you get the answer? Okay. Now, if you need to, you can stop the video, go back and listen again. Okay. Si necesitas, puedes volver y escuchar otra vez para saber la respuesta. All right. So, the reason Kay likes the cafe is, let's see what the answer is. Good coffee. Okay. Now, if we look at what she says, all right. Let's have a look. So she says, there's a really good cafe. They play great music. Right. And then her friend says, sounds good. Is it quite cheap? And she says, it's not that cheap. It's not that cheap. But the coffee is really good. Coffee is really good. And you get a free cake. Okay. The staff there are helpful too. All right. So when she's talking, she does mention all of these things. She talks about cake, she talks about coffee, she talks about the staff. Okay. But when she talks about cake, she says there's a free cake. And here it says cheap cake, right? So there's difference. Cheap and free, two different things. So it's not the same. She says the coffee is really good, right? And that's her main point, what she's saying. The coffee is really good and you get a free cake. And then, as an extra, she says the staff there are helpful too, okay? And she says too, that's like also, all right? So it's like an extra thing, right? So the main reason why she likes the cafe, right, is that the coffee is really good, right? She says the coffee is really good. So that's our answer, okay? Did you get it correct? Fantastic. All right. Good. So what I would like you to do now is we're going to, so we have the 5 questions here. We're going to do the proper exercise, okay? So it says here, let's have a look, exercise 6. So it says, you will hear Claire talking to her friend Simon about a trip to a cafe, okay? For each question, choose the correct answer. So, first of all, right, what we need to do, read all the questions, underline the important words, okay? So read the questions, underline the important words, all right? So take 2 minutes, okay? You can pause the video, read the questions, underline the important words, okay? Puedes parar el video 2 minutos, leer todas las preguntas aquí en ejercicio 6 y subrayar las palabras importantes que pueden ayudar a tener la buena respuesta, okay? So, okay, do that now. Stop the video, read the questions, underline the important words. Okay, all finished? Right, so now let's do the exercise, okay? Let's do the exercise. Now, I'm going to, when we listen, I'm also going to put the text on the screen as well, okay? So you can listen and read, so to make it a little bit easier, okay? Cuando escuchamos, voy a poner el texto también en la pantalla, así puedes leer y escuchar, y será un poco más fácil. Okay, are you ready? Okay, so 5 questions, all right? Listen, choose the correct answer. Okay, Are we ready? Here's the text.
Unit 3. Listening. Page 30. Exercises 6 and 7.
Hi, Claire. I'm just phoning to say happy birthday.
Oh, thanks, Simon. That's really nice of you.
So, did you go to the new music cafe with Christy on Friday evening?
Well, we planned to go then, but in the end, we went on Saturday afternoon.
I went last week and really liked it. What did you think of it?
It was good, but it was a bit small.
I know. There are only 5 tables, and when I went, there were people at 4 of them.
We were lucky it wasn't too busy, and there were only 2 of us.
Was the music good?
Yes, it was, but the food wasn't great.
Really? I'm surprised. I just had an omelette as a snack, and it was good. What did you have?
Well, I had the grilled fish as a main, and Christy had the vegetable curry. The drinks were fantastic, though.
What did you have to drink?
I was thirsty, so I ordered a glass of lemonade. It was sweet and had lots of fruit in it. It was almost a dessert.
Okay. Very good. Did you get all of the answers? All right. So now you can stop the video, go back, and listen again. Okay. Ahora puedes parar el video, volver y escuchar otra vez. Okay. So let's have a look at the answers. All right. And we'll go back to the beginning and we'll see exactly what they say. All right. So first one, Claire went to the music cafe on Saturday afternoon. Okay. So if we look at the text here, Simon says, did you go to the new music cafe with Christy on Friday evening? He said, did you go on Friday evening? And she says, we planned to go, but in the end, al final, in the end, we went on Saturday afternoon, right? So there's our answer. Let's have a look at number 2. It says the cafe had, the answer is 5 tables. Let's have a look where he says this. Okay, so Claire says it was good, but it was a bit small. And Simon says, I know, there are only 5 tables. There are only 5 tables, right? 5 tables. And then he says, when I went there, there were people at 4 of them, right? But there were, in the cafe, 5 tables, all right? So that's our answer. Next one, Simon thought the food was, the answer is enjoyable. All right, so let's have a look where he says this. So Claire says the food wasn't great, and Simon says, really? I'm surprised. I just had an omelette as a snack, and it was good. It was good, right? So good. Enjoyable, right, is another way to say good. Now, not fantastic, because fantastic is really, really, really good. And he just says it was good, right? Normal, it was good. Not fantastic, good. All right. So another way to say good is enjoyable. Okay. Number 4, Claire decided to eat fish. Let's have a look. So Simon says, what did you have? And Claire says, well, I had the grilled fish. Remember grilled? On la plancha. I had the grilled fish as a main. And Christy had a vegetable curry. Right? So she says, I had the grilled fish. Right? So she decided to eat fish. Good. And the last one, Claire finished her meal with a cold drink. Right? A cold drink. Let's have a look where she says. She says, the drinks were fantastic. And Simon says, what did you have to drink? And Claire says, I was thirsty, so I ordered a glass of lemonade. A glass of lemonade. Right? Lemonade. He says it was sweet, it had lots of fruits in it, it was almost a dessert. Okay? But she had a glass of lemonade. Lemonade is a drink, Okay, so the answer is a cold drink. Okay, very good. Did you get all the correct answers? All right. Don't worry if not. Okay, we're going to have more practice. Okay. ¿Has tenido todas las respuestas bien? Si no, no pasa nada. Vamos a practicar más. Okay. All right. Very good. Let's try again. Okay. So now that we've done this listening exercise all together, all right, I would like you to try one on your own. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to the workbook. Okay. So open up your workbook and we're going to go to page 26. Sorry, not 26, page 24. Sorry, página 24, page 24. All right, and we have listening here. All right. Now, on page 24, right, at the top, we're just going to do exercise 4, right? So just exercise 4, right? The main listening exercise. All right, so that's here. All right, it says, so a similar exercise, okay? Listen to Abby and Ingmar talking about cooking holidays. Cooking holidays. And choose the correct answer, okay? So the same thing here. So read the questions, underline the important words, think about different phrases, okay? Hacemos de la misma manera. Leemos todas las preguntas y las opciones. Subrayamos las palabras importantes. Y para todas las opciones que tenemos en las preguntas, pensamos de otras maneras pueden decir estas cosas. ¿Ok? Y sinónimos y otras palabras similares que podemos escuchar, posiblemente. Okay, so have you read all the questions? Have you underlined the important words? Okay, so now we're going to listen without the text. Ahora vamos a escuchar sin el texto. Okay, solo escuchar. Okay, y intentamos tener las buenas respuestas. Okay, so let's listen without the text. All right, so listen very carefully. All right, are you ready? All right, let's do it.
Where did you go on your cooking holiday?
I flew to Lyon and met the group there. We then travelled by coach to the small village of Chassagny, where we stayed for a week in an old house. The house was lovely, and we had the cooking lessons in the kitchen.
Who was the teacher?
There was a young woman called Margot. She was really friendly. She taught most of the lessons, and also her father, Daniel. He was a chef, so he helped with the teaching.
It sounds great. I also went on a cooking holiday last year to Italy.
Really? What did you learn?
We learnt about baking bread and making cakes, and there were 2 lessons on other desserts. I wanted to learn how to make biscuits, but there wasn't enough time.
Was it difficult?
At first it was, but I loved meeting everyone, talking about food, learning, and cooking. And of course, we could eat everything we made. That was the best thing.
Okay, very good. Did you get all of the answers? Okay, now remember, now stop the video, go back, and listen one more time. Okay, paramos el video, volvemos y escuchamos una vez más. Okay, all right, very good. So, do you have all of your answers? Okay, let's correct. All right, let's correct. So I'm just going to put all the answers here. Okay, and we'll have a look in the text as well. So, number 1, Abby spent a week in a village, right? She says, where did you go on holiday? She says, I flew to Lyon and met the group there. We traveled by coach to the small village of Chassagny. where we stayed for a week, right? So stayed for a week in a village. Okay. Next one, the teachers on the course were, the answer is a father and his daughter, right? So let's have a look. He says, who was the teacher? Said there was a young woman, okay, so a young woman, and also her father, Daniel. So a young woman and her father, all right? So not two young women, a father and his daughter, right? So a young woman and her father. Not Daniel and his father, because Daniel is the father, okay? So the answer is a father and his daughter. Number 3, on Ingmar's cooking holiday, there were not any lessons about making biscuits. Let's have a look. So he says, we learnt about baking bread and making cakes. So they did learn baking cakes and baking bread. And there were 2 lessons on other desserts. But here he says, I wanted to learn how to make biscuits, but there wasn't enough time. Okay? It wasn't enough time. He wanted to, but there wasn't time. So that's the answer. Number 4, Ingmar thought his cooking holiday in Italy was difficult when he started. Okay? So let's have a look. Abby says, was it difficult? And he says, at first, it was, right? At first, when he started, at first. Okay? So, difficult when he started. And the last one, on Ingmar's cooking holiday, his favorite thing was eating the food. Okay, so he says here at the end, of course, we could eat everything we made. That was the best thing. All right, we could eat everything we made. That was the best thing. So his favorite thing was eating the food. All right, so there's our answers. Did you get everything correct? Okay, ¿has tenido todas las respuestas bien? Espero que sí. I hope so. Okay, anyway, very good. That'll be everything for today. Okay, that's all. We can finish the class here. Okay, very good work. All right, you're all doing very well. And yes, if you have any problems with the class, if anything's too difficult, just make a note and you can ask me when you come to class. Okay, si algo de la clase es demasiado difícil, si no has entendido algo, apuntarlo y pregúntame cuando vienes a clase. Okay, very good, everybody. Have a nice day, and I will see you in class. Bye-bye.